Hello and welcome along. We're going to do a little tiny bit of show and tell, and then I'm just going to quickly assess this Joseph Rodgers and Sons No1 Star and Cross Razor. I've had it a little while, but I've kind of just got around to seeing to it, we'll call it. It's not been used much. I think it's definitely been used, but it's not been used much. I believe the profile is probably what near the factory put on there. Minimum home wear. You can kind of tell it ain't been used much. There's not much marking in the pivot area or anything. So we'll give it a whirl, we'll have a little look. I've got another new J-Nat. This one's about 4.5 roughly. I actually know the heritage of this stone. It's the first one I know. I will put some description, well I'll tell you what it is in the actual description of the video. Yeah, but it's the first actual J-Nat that, well, I know where it's from and everything. It did have a stamp when it come to me, but, well, I'm a user of stones, so stamp's no good. I suppose I could have flattened that side, kept the stamp. But it'd have been a lot of work. It's not been cashewed or lacquered in my case, but I've got it in order and I will do it. And it come with this stone as well. I got a right good deal on it as well. I put in a bit of a sort of, well, speculative bid, and I won it basically. So I was quite shocked. But both stone and slurry, base stone and slurry stone, seem like they're pretty good. I've already shaved off of it. This is not my first attempt. It seems to do a lovely fine sort of serrated bevel, bit quite frosty, but well, we'll see. Anyway, maybe not this video, but I've got some ones to touch up. So this one I ain't done nothing to, and in a minute I'm just going to show you what I do when razors come in. I've got, for the first time in a while, I've got like, well, it's not so much an old razor, but I've got a razor that started tugging a bit, and this is the one that I think I did the power stropping on. And I got it back, shaving, and I think I've had, I don't know, like three I think I've had 3 shaves since I re-stropped it on a non-pasted strop. So just linen, clean leather on that super little fast horse strop. And it's just not quite shaving as was, we call it. But the strange thing is, it's popping hairs, and it's popping hairs like, you know, pretty good, like still quite aggressively as I call it, but it's just not shaving quite right. So anyway, we're going to give it a little bit of a touch up, and I do believe this is one of the ones that, as I often say, I was a bit kind of frugal with my honing, like being really, well, trying to save the metal basically, but I should have probably gone a little bit more on the bevel setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that down, well, I'm definitely going to take it down to the 5 and just see if I'm hitting the very apex of the whole complete, well, bevel, the apex of the bevel, because I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. If it was just going to be a normal touch up, I might have just been able to do it on here. I might have just been able to like get a good slurry going, and then I might have done it. Same with my level 5 J-Nat as well, and probably the same with my water of air. But I want to do some little investigations on that, so that's what I'm going to do. I've got my MK33. This one's all finished now. I think, yeah, this has been in other videos and everything. I managed to tighten it up as well a little bit more without cracking the scale, so I'm really pleased with that. But it just didn't quite shave right. If, you know, for instance, if I was going to sell it, it wouldn't have been marketed as shave ready, if you know what I mean. It'd have had a bit of a caveat saying, yeah, not quite. So yeah, I'm gonna have another go on that, and that was on that super soft J-Nat that I've got, which is actually just over here. Super soft, and I'm still trying to get grips for that. It's going to take me a while, I think. That really is. A lot more reading is going to be needed, and a lot more running laps and that. What else we got? I did a repair this week. I can't remember if I've showed this on YouTube. I've showed it in forums and whatnot. This is a Puma 19. Yeah, I did show it a bit, didn't I? Of course I did. and it had, well, the original horn scales, and it had a really big, thick, wide crack. So what I've tried to do is stabilise it basically. I've backed it with a bit of brass, I've done a load of micro peening. And then it was still trying to open up a little bit though, so I've tried to get like a little strap in it. I might have to put another one in at some point, because I've done that one a little bit close to the edge. But we'll see how it holds up. You can see it's holding the razor, so at the moment I'll shave with this. Trying to think what stone this was on. Oh, this was off my level 5. I had to go back to my level 5 for at least one razor. Almost to gain my confidence back a little bit, I think. What else have we got then? I'm going to take this back, CJ, Wingard, lovely beautiful frame back. We're going to have another go at that. I won't be touching that on my soft J and that, because that's what it's come off. And we've got this beautiful little stubby that just didn't quite shave right. Yeah, so we're going to have another go at that. Going to get some tape on it. We're going to see what we can do, because I'm determined to get that shaving right. Beautiful razor, really is. Just pretty little thing. And another razor I got ready this week. Kind of like one of the keepers. It's just the old Crown and Sword. What is it? Oh, do you know what? I thought it was a 1066 the other day, so I said that wrong somewhere. But it's not, it's an 1166, but as you can see, it's slightly different from your normal. Because I've got to say, I've had, how many of these razors I have? 1166, well, Crown and Sword razors. I don't know, I must have had at least 20, 30 as a guess. But it's the first one I've had with a barber's notch. And Mr. Earn liked doing this style of barber's notch. And I've only got 2 razors that I regret selling, really. 2, it's definitely 2. Is it 3? Can't think of another one, so it's definitely 2. And one of them was very similar to this razor, but it was a bit bigger. It was like a 7/8, and it had a thicker, heavier grind. So this is what you'd call a hollow, but it's not an extra hollow. It's got a bit of meat in the bottom part. Don't know if you're picking it up at all, but it's definitely got a little tiny bit more meat than some Crown and Sword hollows. And this is the razor, sorry, yeah, that come off this. It does actually need a little tiny bit more work on the heel. And I'll tell you a little secret. I've said before in my videos that I kind of concentrate on this side first, generally anyway, unless I know there's a proper problem on the other side. But like right old donk, I didn't really check the other side. Took it all the way to 12,000. I was like, oh, it's not popping hairs. What's going on? Because like this side was beautiful. And anyway, so when I looked on, sorry, this side was beautiful. And when I looked on this side, well, I weren't hitting the bloody apex at all there. All there. It was from about there. It was from, well, about there, all the way back there. So I had to do quite a few strokes, just concentrating on the heel and the toe a little bit, really. And I think there's just a little tiny bit more on the heel to be had on that. But it shaved alright. A good shave of it, one pass shaving. It's pretty tight as well. I didn't have no reapers or anything, so you kind of know that it's decent anyway, if you know what I mean. Just thought I'd quickly show you them. And I have actually got another MK31. I'll go and get that while I'm at it. While I'm at it. Got another MK31. It's quite a nice one. I've not polished or anything, this is just how it come. And it looks like it's got quite a good edge on it already, really. So I don't have to do much to it. Hopefully, anyway. It's nice, nice one. You'd kind of say it's, you know, mostly it's full size and everything. And then we've got number 24. Probably my most favourite is to this is, oh no, sorry, yeah. This is a number 52. So this was EDV Nilström's copy of well, Helgestrand. It could be an MK24 or a number 24, but this was the copy. Even Solingen makes were copying the the number 24, the MK24. It's in the wrong case. But that's about it. That's the news I've got. I've put an email out to the person I'm going to buy some horse hide off. So hopefully they get back to me today and I'll get that ball rolling. I've got a couple of £100, so we'll get some leather. I want to make some leather strops from start to finish, so we'll give it a whirl. Right, let's have a little look at this J-Nat while we're at it. Like I said, the first one I know that got the heritage. It's a relatively hard stone. I'd say 4.5 is about right. It really would. As you could see, it won't really act into my nail at all. This is the kind of slurry it gets. And you can see that it's not like creating slurry massively quick with my old little tiny diamond plate. You know, if it was softer it would. There we go, that's coming now. So it's almost got like a bit of a greeny grey colour to me. I don't know if that's coming across as my eyes see it. Everybody sees everything a little bit different now in colour, so but there you go, that's a good show of it, I'd say. It's got a nice feel to it. It's got a nice feel to it running razors over it. We'll give it a bit of a whirl with the old slurry stone. See, the slurry stone is definitely quite a bit softer. But what I was thinking the other day is I think it really is sort of combining them both a little bit. Because if you do the slurry stone just on its own, it is like, well, representative of the slurry stone. It's quite sort of creamy colour. Sticks well to it. But where is that? If we look at it, I think that's quite a mixture of both, really. To my eyes, anyway. Whatever that means, anyway. Right, so what do I do when I get a razor in? You know, some weeks I get 10 razors in, some weeks I get none in, some weeks I get 30 in, 40, 50. So, you know, you've got to get relatively efficient at it, otherwise, you know, you're just wasting time. So, I don't do this with every razor because I'm quite experienced, so, but this does help. So we just bone a bit of marker on the edge. If you want to know how to get marker pen off, really rather easy. You just use 99% alcohol IPA, I think it's called. And if you leave marker pen on razors, some razors, it actually mars them. It can leave like a really bad imprint, and when you go like that, so like for instance I've wrote like bevel with an arrow on some and just left them in my drawer, and I've alcoholed them and I've cleaned them and everything, and when I go like that I can still see the marker very faintly. It's almost like it actually penetrates the metal. Well, it was just use a J-Nat, don't really matter, especially for this task. Sometimes I generally use mostly well, I use my 5 or my 8, but I've started going towards the 8 a little bit more because I find it easier just to see like the markings, if you know what I mean. Right, we're just going to do one lap. And on that side it looks like we're sort of generally hitting right up to near the point there. And then on this side I think there's a very faint sort of little bit missing there. And then it looks like it's missing a bit there. But let's have a quick look under the old scope just to confirm that. Like I said, you don't really need a scope. You could get like a 10 times camera lope. I always say get a 10 times one to start with, just so you're getting more of a broader view of the bevel, and then when you get more experience you can get like a times 50 or even a times 100 and you get really close in then on times 100. But I find if you get too close, observing too close too quick, it can almost give you like a false narrative a bit, like, you know, you can sometimes lose like the overall picture, and that's not what you want to be doing as a beginner really. I don't find it helps you kind of move along nice and quickly. Alright, let's get something. That's the first time I've looked at the stamp. I love looking at the stamps under my microscope. Yeah, I'll let you have a look at it. It's not as good as some stamps, like the pebbly strand ones are really good. Really kind of like bright, as you can call it. So you can see there that we're not hitting the apex at all. So that could be multiple things. It could mean we were last honed with tape, or it could just be where it's been stropped, like I said in the other video that I've just sort of done. Yeah, look, it's quite consistent, isn't it, that is? So we'll just run a few laps now and just get a feel, sort of, that first lap I did as well. I always do it kind of, I'd say like my pressure most of the time on a razor is relatively sort of equal, but when I first do that I always kind of consciously do it quite light, just because I don't want to create blade flex or anything like that. I'm just trying to observe what the razor is naturally doing as it does its lap. Sorry, I've not long eaten, I'm a bit. Whoop. This is a razor I nearly sold. I had another one that was very similar to this called, well, a Joseph Rodgers Hamburg ring. And if the dude who bought this sees this, hello, how do you do, from Bulgaria. He's a new customer, a new sort of razor friend, and yeah, it's a really nice razor anyway that's coming his way. Very similar to this grind and everything, but yeah, it was interesting because it was a Joseph Rodgers and it had the Hamburg ring, and it wasn't made in Germany and it wasn't ground in Germany. It's almost like a little Mickey take in a way. I'm not too sure because obviously it's a long time ago, but I think there was a certain amount of irony putting the Hamburg stamp on it, because the grind weren't what you'd call a Hamburg grind either, or at least what a lot of people now think of one. See, I still think we're missing the toe a little bit there, which is just a pain. I was hoping that weren't going to do that, but it is. So we're going to have to rock and roll with that. But it's quite even, isn't they? Like, you know, it's like the factory's done it, but then the person who had it first, they could have done it, couldn't they? Of course they could, you know. Let's have another little look. Let's just get the stamping quick. There we go. So we know what we're at. Well, it's a bit closer. So you can see the J nap though, it's got quite a nice sort of frosty edge in it. It's not too scrapey. See, that's where we're not hitting, that's the bit I could see. That's not in it quite a bit, isn't it? Which is just a pain. So this side's hitting it a little bit more, so that's the face side. Yeah, it's definitely hitting a little bit more, but then towards the end, nice and equal though, isn't it? Look, the way it curves off like that. So, with that in mind, we can kind of say that it's going to be quite an easy-ish razor to hone. It just needs a little bit of manipulation on the toe, which is one of my little pet hates, but because this is going to be my razor for a while, we'll grin and bear it. I might rescale this as well because it's got just bog standard celluloid scales, and frankly I don't like celluloid scales, full stop. I will keep them, I will take them off without damaging them, I will drill it out, and I will save them in a little bag, not in my drawer of razors but in this little, I've got a special place for them, and I will mark on the bag Joseph Rodgers No1 Star and Cross razor, so if we ever do sell it I can just quickly bung the original razor scales back on, because I do like keeping things original. I just don't like celluloid in my drawer, full stop really. I might do the same to that Crown and Sword razor as well. But that's it, that's what I kind of do. Quick assessment, and that's ready to go forward now. So I would start that. Well, I've just got a new Shapton Pro actually. I've got a complete set of Shapton Pros now. I've got a 1500. So because I've got this new 1500, I'd probably go straight to that and see if that can just grind down the bevel just enough. But then you know, you just have to assess it, don't you? It might need to go to the one just to save time. But there's no chips in it or anything, so you know, could even get away with a 2. But we'll see. But that's generally just my initial assessments. Right, let's get on with some other ones. I'll see you later, lads. Toodaloo.